Welcome to Module 8. So, thus far, we've covered a bunch of really incredible topics in terms of how you can expand as a human being from level 1 to 2 to 3 to level 4. The God mind. Well, we've kind of given you a glimpse of level 4, but this program has really been about going from level 1, most of you are on level 2, in fact, to level 3, the state of limitless. An interesting thing happens when you're at that state of limitless, and that is that you start to operate along the lines of a man or a woman with a mission on how you want to change the world. And that's where this module comes in. I did a quick poll of the early group of 300 students who took this course when I first created it. We released it to about 300 people so we could get their feedback, their comments, and this was kind of the makeup for the group. When I did a survey, I found that there was an equal number of people who were entrepreneurs and people who worked for large companies. There was a small group of students. There was a number of people who were freelancers, a small group who were part of an NGO, a small group who were unemployed. Now, no matter where you are in this chart, this particular segment is for you. It's about how to rally people around your mission. You see, missions are best served when we have a group of friends or colleagues or whatever you want to call them who are working with us to make this mission come true. After all, if that mission is so powerful, so important to the universe, then it is irresponsible to attempt to do it alone. It is responsible to get people around you. So as you go through this particular module, you will see that what we're trying to do over here is, as we get you to level 3, I'm now teaching you how to be a leader, because the world needs more leaders who are at level 3. Now, you don't have to be running your own company. You don't have to be owning a startup or heading an NGO. You could be an employee in a company. You could be running a team. You could even be a part of a team. When you understand what we're about to share in this particular segment, your ability to use your mind to not just impact your reality, but impact the people around you, and thus impact the world in a favorable way, expands. And that is what we need. We need people who have the ability to spark positivity, happiness, vision growth in others, so that together we can mold a better world. Martin Rudd, who is the coach I introduced you to in one of the earlier chapters, asks people, what is your vision for heaven on earth? And what are you doing today to make it happen? What you're going to learn over here is how to, as you go through your life today and on a day-to-day basis, not just work on your vision, but to mobilize other people to make that vision happen. So your heaven on earth becomes a shared dream and comes to the world sooner and more magnificent than if you can do it on your own. So let me talk about what my heaven on earth is. My heaven on earth is education, yes, but I'm also obsessed with design. I'm obsessed with designing real beauty into the programs that we put in, from our websites to our apps to the Mindvalley iWatch to Elula, our learning platform. So as you can see, almost everything that we do at Mindvalley has this sense of design, this sense of aesthetics. Our photography from Awesomeness Fest, the office we work in, but all of this was not done by me. It was my obsession, but I'm not an artist. It was all done by teams. So I've always felt that one of my missions on earth is to bring beauty to education, to the idea of personal growth, to take it to the next level so that it's sexier, it's hipper, it attracts more people. But I've not been able to do this on my own. I've had to mobilize a team. And one of the things many of you are going to find is that even as you find your mission, you are going to need people to rally around you for that mission. Almost every great individual I've spoken about in this course, from Elon Musk to Richard Branson, had a knack for mobilizing teams. That's my team. Everything I do, I'm able to do because of these people. And so a shared vision which can mobilize a group of people to come together is the most powerful kind, because that's when you can really create change on the planet. So like I said, what I want you to understand is a number of different techniques. And here we're going to talk about 7 keys that you're going to be able to apply in your company, in your business, in your life, to rally people around your mission so it comes true even faster. See, we have spoken about tapping into higher consciousness, tapping into intuition. This is where we're tapping into that thing that we all love being part of. We're tapping into fellow human beings. And we're not tapping into a way where we are getting from them. We're tapping into a way where we are inspiring them and helping them get a mission and a vision too. Now, these ideas will work if you are in a team or running a team. If you are part of a mastermind working on, say, beautifying the city, or a mastermind dedicated to its members' growth. It will work if you are part of a community group. It will work if you're a teacher in a classroom. It will work if you are part of or if you own a company. It applies if you have a large company, if you're part of a company, if you're a small team, if you're solo and making your first hire, or if you're building any sort of tribe. The mistake is many people think these type of skills are only for people who are at positions of power, politicians, CEOs. They are not. These skills apply to everyone, no matter where you are in life right now. And certainly, as you start using this skill more, you will rise up as a leader. You will find more and more people flocking to you, and your ability to grow within your company or within your group or to grow your own company start to expand. So, in my case, my discovery with this whole aspect of being able to rally people around my vision started when a nightmare led to my dream. What happened was in 2002, if you know my story, in September 11, 2002, I'd done so well at my job in San Francisco that my company moved me to New York. And they picked the date, September 11, 2002, because it was 1 year after the horrific events of September 11, and we wanted to establish an office in New York and start hiring people. We wanted to help rebuild New York, be part of that. We wanted to create jobs in New York. And everything went well. But sometime, about 18 months later, things changed in the world. September 11 had a mass effect on the entire planet. Now, I was working in New York, and I lived in that particular apartment right there on 8th Avenue. That's where I started Mindvalley in my spare time while working for this company. It was a wonderful time. And that was, it was a long, long time ago. But what happened was, about a year after I started Mindvalley, I ended up being put on a watch list. And that was because I was born in Malaysia and I had a Malaysian passport. And so, for whatever reason, I got added to a watch list. And all of a sudden, living in America became difficult. It was as if I was living on parole. A watch list was created for anyone who might be suspicious of anything. And in my case, I guess it was because of where I was born. I was added to this watch list, and so every time I flew into any airport, I had to stay back with immigration. And sometimes it would take up to 3 hours, and I'd get fingerprinted, photographed. I'd have to give them my credit card so they could track all my purchases. And it wasn't just when I was traveling. Every 30 days in New York, even if I was in the country, I had to make my way to a government building, stand in line, sometimes for 4 hours, for that same ritual. The fingerprinting, the photography. It was, and I loved America. I wanted my kids growing up as Americans, but my wife, who was European, and I, we couldn't live like that. We couldn't live as if we were on parole. And so, as much as I still love America, I had to move out of it. I had to leave, and that's how Mindvalley ended up in Malaysia. So we ended up moving to Kuala Lumpur, which is the city in which I was born. Now, Kuala Lumpur is a great city. It's as modern as any US city, but Malaysia has an issue, and that issue is brain drain. The problem in Malaysia is that because it's a developing country, every year 1% of the population leave, and they were leaving to richer countries, Hong Kong, Singapore, Canada, the United States. And so my friends told me, why are you coming back? And most of my friends at that point were no longer in Malaysia. They were foreign educated and they had settled down in Canada or the UK. And they said, there is no talent in Malaysia. You can't pull off what you want to pull off in Malaysia. Forget the watch list. Try to make it back to the US. For me, it was too late. I was back in Malaysia, couldn't head back to the US. I'd given up my visa. I had to make it work. And it got lonely. If you were to go back to 2004 and look at the first Mindvalley website, you would see it was me and my dog, Ozzy. I actually got a Labradoodle to keep me company because it was that lonely. I knew no one. All my friends were in America. Now, I was always inspired by Buckminster Fuller, and you've heard me say this before, particularly his quote, "You never change things by finding the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete." So I thought, well, I can't change geopolitics. I can't change brain drain in Malaysia, but what I can do is build a new model that makes these things irrelevant to me. And I figured, well, what if I set a vision so big that the brain drain, that being here in Malaysia doesn't negatively impact me? And that vision was, I want to build the world's greatest workplace. Now, you've heard the story. By setting that vision, I set into gear the wheels in motion for this massive transformation. And what happened was that I went from me and a dog to an incredible team, from a crappy little office to the gorgeous office, from a workspace that looked like that to a workspace that looked like this. And we managed to assemble people from all around the world who travel to Malaysia, who compete in video cover letters on YouTube just to get recognized by Mindvalley, and to move all the way to Malaysia so that we can build a company here, a company that is now producing the content that you're consuming. And so today we employ 40 different nationalities in our office. And the best part is the brain drain never impacted us. We instead went beyond it. The vision got rid of whatever problems I was facing from the current circumstances, and today I run an office that feels as if I'm in New York. It is filled with the diversity of New York, except that it is in Malaysia. And this is the team that we assembled, and this is how Mindvalley was able to born. So Mindvalley was able to give birth to the products that it has today. So 2 lessons here. First, remember, always remember that your mind is far more powerful than existing circumstances. Politicians, geopolitics, no matter where you're in, when you start thinking a broader vision, the universe finds a way to make these things possible for you. But the second lesson is there's an incredible power that happens when you can rally people around your vision. This is what I learned, okay? Now, it wasn't just about overcoming brain drain. One of the things many people don't know about Mindvalley is that we got to where we are with just $700. That was all it took for me to start the company. I couldn't get a bank loan because people thought the idea of selling meditation was crazy. I couldn't get any VC fundings for the same reason. Back in 2004, 2005, no one was looking at the meditation market. $700, we built all of this with no VCs or bank loans. And today the company is worth over $100 million. And it has 150 people from 40 plus countries in Kuala Lumpur rallying around that shared vision. So you can see how powerful it is when you can bring together incredible people around a vision. I was able to take something that everyone said, was hopeless, wasn't going to be a big company, despite not having investors, despite being kicked out of America, despite doing this in a country with high brain drain. By rallying people around a shared vision, an amazing thing was possible. So let's go down to the 7 keys that I want to share with you so that you can do the same no matter what your vision is. And remember, for me, it was a slow, gradual start. It was about 2 years before I hired my first employee. And I'm now 12 years into the business. So don't expect it to happen immediately, but when you learn these things, you can accelerate it. And if you are running a team, or if you are looking to build up your startup right now, these 7 keys are going to accelerate your growth in ways you've never imagined. So let's get to step 1, which is the first key, and that is attraction. How do you attract people to this vision? So first thing is, this is the typical job ad. Looking for interior designer students. This is what you'd see on Craigslist. It's boring, it's blah, it doesn't inspire. Most people, however, write job ads like that. Now, most job ads suck because of a common reason. Simon Sinek, who gave one of my favorite TED Talks, said, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. People don't care what you do, they care why you do it. This is something that you've been introduced to previously in the course. It's the importance of mission. A mission gives you a why. People care about the why. They rarely care about the what. First step is understand the why of what you do and make that your calling for people to join you. Appeal to the why. So if that's the typical job ad, this is how we did our job ad. You can see this on mindvalley.com/careers. When we first started out, our job ad said this: at Mindvalley, we believe job is a dirty word. Work, we believe, needs to be fun, educational, something that makes you so excited that you jump out of bed every morning. So screw the traditional 9 to 5. Instead, get paid to play, create, learn, and grow. It's like being a child again, but with a salary. So you can see what we're doing here. We were appealing to people who wanted an alternate way of work. Now, we put up this job ad in the early days because back then in Malaysia, the job environment was so bad, people were dreading working for companies in Kuala Lumpur, and that's why so many people were leaving. So this spoke to the why. And as you scroll down, you'll see that we added what was in every way a manifesto, 9 reasons to build your career at Mindvalley, and we spoke about these 9 things. Now you can do the same thing. You can write your manifesto. Let's say you are starting a company that's hoping to get clean water out to people. So your manifesto might be on the importance of clean water, why you believe this is a right every human being should have. You might talk about the thing that you are fighting in the world, whether it's water pollution or it's expensive bottled water. Now, the manifesto technique is a very, very simple way. Think about 5 to 10 things about why you're doing what you're doing and put that on your job ad. Now, when we first started, this was our website. Notice it's nothing fancy. It's not beautiful. I wrote this on probably WordPress, which is a very simple blogging tool. You can see there's no fancy text or images except for a picture of our small team back then, but you can still see the 10-point manifesto, 10 reasons to join Mindvalley. Very, very, very powerful technique. And our office back then looked like this. People were not joining us because we were a glamorous company. They were joining us because of that manifesto. So incredible things happen when you seek the underlying emotion. Now, the second thing I want you to understand, as we are still in step 1, is why do people really want a job? So we spoke about mission, right? But let's go deeper. I started out with appealing to the mission, but as I interviewed thousands of people, I found that invariably, all these people wanted 4 things from a job. They wanted growth, they wanted to grow, they wanted happiness, they wanted meaning, they wanted abundance. And it was always one of these 4 things: growth, happiness, meaning, abundance. And if you think about it, odds are what you crave in a job are also falling in these 4 areas. So if you look at that, you'll see that's an iPad. Now, when I'm doing a job interview, I would take out my iPad, I would draw this little matrix, and I'd write down happiness, abundance, growth, meaning. And I tell someone, let's say you have 3 chips. Sorry, let's say you have 12 chips. How would you distribute in this grid? And based on how they distributed the chips, I could get a sense of what mattered to them. And I noticed that most of the best people I hired found that growth was one of their key most important things, right? Smart people want to grow. And the best people I hired often tended to put growth as one of the key things because as they became the best people, because they perpetually kept growing. So when I interview people, this is the matrix I use, and I ask them, what matters to you? And they'll give me an idea. And then I open up the manifesto and I talk about the elements in here that relate to these 4 things. For example, if it's growth, I talk about the growth opportunities in Mindvalley. If it's happiness, I might talk about number 1, the freedom to be yourself, or number 2, your amazing teammates. So before we go to step 2, let me recap step 1. Don't write a typical job ad. Appeal to people's sense of mission. So mission is the number 1 thing, but there are 3 other things that people really care about. They care about growth, they care about happiness, they care about abundance. We'll explore those in a bit, but appeal to the why. The why is what will first get people to join you. And figure out a way to present your team or your company or your NGO as a manifesto that talks to the why. But now we go to number 2. As these people flock to you, how do you find the right fit? So this is something I've learned the hard way. Zig Ziglar has a beautiful story about the time he was brought into a company to help the management team understand how to grow their team and have better employees. So the story goes that he assembled all the managers together and he said, name every attribute of the perfect employee. And people went on for hours and he built a list of 107 items. And then he said, no, let's press on. Let's keep naming them. They continued tossing out words and they came out with an additional 7 items. Now they had a list of 114. Zig then went to every item, every attribute, and put an A or an S. An A stood for attitude and S stood for skill. Attitude or skill. And attitude might be happiness, might be motivation. Skill might be PHP programming, might be Scrum Master. Now, the interesting thing was, as he did the list, take a guess. How many do you think were attitudes? How many do you think were skills out of 114? What percentage? 50-50? Maybe 70 skill, 70% attitude? Well, it turned out 107 were attitudes, 7 were skills. And this is a key idea. You hire for attitude, you train for skill. Think about yourself as you're taking this program. The fact that you were drawn to this program means you have a great attitude. You are positive, you're open to growth. You probably, as a result of going through this program, have strengthened your belief in human intuition, in your personal power. Those are great attitudes to have in an employee. You want to look for that. So at Mindvalley, one of the things I learned is you always hire for attitude. You train for skill. A bad attitude is the worst thing you can bring into a company. And very often I fall for that mistake. I would make a mistake of hiring a great developer, a great filmmaker, a great designer who had skill but had a lousy attitude. and they sink the rest of the team. Now we make it a point to get rid of these people as fast as possible, no matter how talented they are, because a bad attitude brings people down, brings everyone else down. It breaks flow in the team. But if you have a great attitude, you can train someone for skill. So seek the best, but make sure you are seeking the best because of their attitude. So we seek the best, and here's something you can do by asking people to submit not a resume, but a video cover letter. A beautiful thing about a video cover letter, especially when you cannot interview someone in the same city, is that from watching the video, you get a sense of their attitude. Resumes list skills. A video gives you a bigger idea of someone's attitude. Are they positive? Are they enthusiastic? And I asked them two things in the video. Tell us why you want to join Mindvalley, and tell us 3 reasons you think you're awesome. So here are a couple of videos, right, that show you how great an attitude someone can have from hiring them. This is from Alexandru from Romania.
Mike Valley.
Mind Valley. Mind Valley. Mind Valley.
Mind Valley.
Mind Valley.
And back to me. Hi there, Mindvalley. I'm Alex, and I'll take you on a short journey of soul searching and passion hunting.
So you can see that was Alex. That's the guy who's been helping us edit and put together this program. He filmed that in Romania. Now this is Tanya Lopez. If you've ever attended Awesomeness Fest, you know Tanya Lopez is the person who runs Awesomeness Fest. She's been running it for now the past 4 years. Now check out what you can get about her attitude in her video.
Hi, I'm Tanya Lopez, and this is my video submission for the world's most awesome job. Where are you shooting from? I can see it in your camera.
Again, you can see personality shine. Now, this video is really interesting. In this video was an animated film, a girl from Poland. She spent 300 man-hours putting this together so she would get noticed by Mindvalley. You don't see her in the video, but you can see her dedication. She ended up being one of our best hires. So ask for video cover letters. It's a great way to connect and identify people that the rest of the world may have missed. I found that I would rather get 1 video than 100 resumes. And in fact, for some of our jobs, if we do not ask for a video, we get 100 resumes. If we ask for a video, we get 1. But that 1 ends up being pretty good. And I don't have to waste my time pouring through 100 resumes, which can be so time consuming. So I want to share with you the importance of attitude, right? This is our customer support team at Mindvalley. You'll notice it's a very diverse group, men, women. They're mostly young because these are people who moved to Kuala Lumpur to work in customer support. We also have a customer support team in Europe, which is made up of 60-year-old women. We have a customer support team in Costa Rica that's made up of 30 to 40-something single moms. We want to give single moms who have to stay home and take care of their kids a job. But in Kuala Lumpur, it typically tends to be younger people from around the world who move to Kuala Lumpur to work in our Kuala Lumpur team. Now, interesting thing about this team is it's 15 people from 15 different countries. It's very diverse. But what's cool about the team is that the attitude that they have is so incredible that this team just won Best Customer Support Team in all of Asia from a company called Nice Reply. Now that, mind you, is out of thousands of companies. So when you have the right attitude, it doesn't just make your company good, it permeates to your customers as well. And that's why this is so incredible. 79% of people who rate our team give us a 5-star rating for their responses. So another way to gauge attitude is called the world centrism test. This is something that I do based on Ken Wilber's idea of states of awareness. So I can explain it this way. In the old days, most people were egocentric. Your awareness descended from you to your family. And so if you were to meet another person foraging for berries in the wilderness or about to hunt the same animal, you might just as go and kill them so you could get that meat, you could get that berry so your family could survive. Now, as we progress as a society, we expand from egocentrism to ethnocentrism. That's a level up. Ethnocentrism is where most of the world is today. Ethnocentrism is when you place your loyalty with your country, with your religion, with your nationality. You still have a bit of egocentrism in you. You have to survive, but you are aware of a larger whole. Now, there's a group of people, maybe about 20% of the world, that move up to world centrism. America is indeed moving in this direction right now. Europe and Scandinavia are already there. World centrism is where you feel connected to the world as a whole. And it's not just about you, it's about the world as a whole. You recognize that your culture, your country, your religion is important, yes, but there are other cultures, other countries, other religions, and we're all part of a human species. In world-centrist countries, you find like Scandinavia, like Germany. If you're reading the news recently on Angela Merkel in Germany, she just announced that all refugees coming in would be given a home and would be taken care of. That's an example of world centrism. So there's a level beyond, that's cosmocentrism. According to Ken Wilber, 5% of the population is in cosmocentrism. Cosmocentrism is best described this way. Great, you recognize that all human beings are whole. What if a sentient alien race landed? Would you treat them with the same love and compassion as the human race? If the answer is yes, you're cosmocentric. So it's a level up, right? Now, I'm not necessarily caring about cosmocentric, though Ken Wilber says 5% of the population is there, but what I do care about is world centrism. I ask people questions that help me understand where is their loyalty. Is their loyalty to all of planet Earth? Or is it just to their particular religious group or tribe or ethnicity or nationality? And I've repeatedly found that world-centric people have the highest levels of trust. They bring great energy to the team. They work tremendously well with everyone else. They tend to be more honest because when you're world-centric, see, if you're ethnocentric, I believe, you may be good to your particular definition of what is your tribe, but to people outside that definition, you may be bad or you may be dishonest. But if you're world-centric, your tribe is so big, you're forced to be honest and good and transparent to everyone. So I ask people questions such as how much have you traveled? Tell me about your friends. And what I'm looking for here is an appreciation of diversity and an ability to connect with the entire planet. So world-centrism also tends to parallel, at least I believe so, higher levels of consciousness. So the more conscious you are, the more world-centric you are because the more connected you feel to the world. So it's also a way of trying to understand how developed someone is in terms of their states of awareness. Most of you taking this program tend to be world-centric, and you want to hire people who are world-centric. I've often found that the people who have given me trouble in the office because they were not a culture fit, or they were mean to others, or they just had a lousy attitude, a lot of that came from a sense of ethnocentrism. They couldn't get along with other cultures. They were disrespectful to other people's beliefs or religions. It was that ethnocentric vibe that corrupted the culture. And so we go for world centrism, and it's a tip I want to share with you. Now we go on to step 3. Establish a common code. So this is one of the things that's most important about what we do at Mindvalley. What you're looking at over there is the Code of Awesomeness. Now, the Code of Awesomeness isn't something I came up with. Sometime in 2008, we brought all our employees together, and we asked everyone to write down, what does Mindvalley mean to you? What is Mindvalley? And people wrote down phrases on growth, on happiness, on contribution to the world. Now, we took all of these phrases and we stuck them in clusters. So you'd have one cluster with every phrase on growth, one cluster with every phrase on wisdom, another cluster with every phrase on happiness. And then we had our HR team identify the top 10 clusters out of maybe 20. And this is what we got. The number one thing that people cared about is dreaming big. I dare to dream big. The number 2 thing was Mindvalley is about evolving through learning. The 3rd thing is positivity and passionate. Now, we stuck this on our wall. This became our Code of Awesomeness. And the code is so important because we turn it into artwork, we put it all around the office, and it looks good, but it reminds people of what our values are. And 5 years later, we tried doing the test again. The code did not change because it was that ingrained in us. Now, the Code of Awesomeness is really important. When someone new joins Mindvalley, that's a group of new hires, you can see they're taking an oath with me on the code. The code is in the background. They raise their right hand. They repeat the code after me. Your code helps you speed up decision making. Let's say we have a meeting, and the meeting is about getting a product out to meet a deadline, but the product isn't perfect yet. Maybe the quality isn't up to par. Immediately, you know what to do by referencing the code. We have a clause in the code that says turn customers into raving fans. Now, based on that clause, we can ask ourselves, well, if we got this product out and it was imperfect, are we going to be creating raving fans? If the answer is no, we know what to do. The code speeds up your decision making. If you notice, many religions, many philosophies have a code. This is why the code is important. Now, I encourage you to figure out how to create this code with your team, you can use the model I just shared with you, which is group creation. But when the group creates the code, the group is more likely to abide to it. So use the code. It's a very, very, very powerful thing. We reinforce our code at all our weekly meetings at the Hall of Awesomeness, and it's tremendous to us. Now, that's a picture of someone swearing on the Code of Awesomeness in the early days of Mindvalley. Notice how shabby and run down the office is, right? So again, I just want to reiterate, you do not have to have a fancy office. You do not have to even have an office. In this case, this was happening in a living room in a house we rented. We couldn't afford a normal office. You can see how run down it is, but we had that code, and that code helped us get to where we are today. So let's do a quick summary. Attraction: create job ads that appeal to the heart. Finding the right fit, hire for attitude and seek the best. The code: define your values and live by them. Attraction, fit, code. Now we go on to the next phase, step 4. Now, do you remember this diagram? Happiness, abundance, growth, meaning? This is where we're going into the next 4 stages, and we're going to start with happiness. So I clued you in earlier that people rally around a team because happiness is one of the things that's important to them. So you want to be able to give happiness to your tribe. So we've already discussed what makes us happy. And we've talked about discipline. But today what I want to talk about is something called social support. There was a famous study done at Harvard by Ed Diener and Martin Seligman, and it showed that of every quality, social support was the far greatest predictor of happiness than any other factor. It wasn't the quality of your surroundings, it wasn't wealth, it wasn't health, it was social support, the strength of our social connections. So no matter what team you're building, it's imperative that you create social connections within the team. We toss lots of parties. We celebrate birthdays in the office. We celebrate culture days. We take our company to trips to the beach. It's all about creating social connections. I spoke to Branson once, and he said in his book, every company should have this in their business plan. Have lots and lots and lots of parties. And the founder should be the first person in the pool. And so we try to practice that as much as we can. There's a myth out there that you shouldn't be friends with your coworkers. Absolute rubbish. In the book Good to Great by Jim Collins, Jim said the people we interviewed from good to great companies clearly loved what they did, largely because they loved who they did it with. And there's another study by Gallup that shows that when you have a close friend at work or within your community or your tribe, your satisfaction, employee satisfaction, is up 50%. And people with a best friend at work are 7 times more likely to engage fully in their work. Think about that. 7 times more likely. So whether you're running a business or you're working for a company, create ways within your team for friendship to form. If you're working for a boss that maybe doesn't see it yet, try to figure out how you can shift that. But friendships at work are incredibly important to creating a healthy team that's moving towards a vision. Another thing that's really important is positive contagions. One of the things that you are learning as you go through this course is how to infect the world with your positivity. Now, this is very important. In the book, The Happiness Advantage, Sean Aker talks about a study that found that when leaders are in a positive mood, their employees are more likely to be in a positive mood themselves and exhibit pro-social helping behavior towards one another and to coordinate tasks more efficiently and with less effort. Think about that. If the leader is positive, the team operates well. So how do you create positivity in your workplace? Well, one of the things we do is we celebrate a lot. We have people from different cultures, so we celebrate culture days. That is Russian and Ukrainian culture day. That's Malaysian culture day, Indian culture day, American culture day, Latin culture day, Canadian culture day. We use every excuse we can to celebrate a culture. Every Thursday, we have a celebration in the company. Every Thursday, we have a happy hour. We celebrate a culture. Or if it's not a culture day, we celebrate something such as LGBT Day, or Women Appreciation Day, or Male Appreciation Day, or Christmas. It's always a celebration every Thursday, but these celebrations bring people together. Here's the reason why. It's called The Ripple Effect, Emotional Contagion and Its Influence on Group Behavior by Sigal Basad. When you are creating positivity in your company, positive people especially, they improve team performance, group performance, they reduce conflict, they create more cooperation and greater overall performance per task at hand. It's no surprise that when we started having more social events, more positivity within the company, as I grew this company, I noticed negativity, negative people, politics within the company, all disappearing. as more and more and more socialness and positivity was infused within the organization. Now, if you don't have culture days, make up your own. This is an example of weirdness and silliness in the company. Every November, so as you know, in November there's a movement called Movember where men do not shave. And it was a movement started to raise awareness for prostate cancer. So we celebrate this in November. It's called Tash and Heels Day. Every man comes to work in a mustache. Every woman comes to work in heels. And the men love their mustaches. The women love wearing heels, as uncomfortable as it might be in a regular workday. But it brings people together. Now, another thing we do, and I encourage you to join us for this, is Love Week. So the week of Valentine's Day in the company is something we call Love Day. And what we do on that Valentine's week is everyone in the company is paired up. You draw names out of a hat and you become an angel to someone else. Now, as an angel, all you got to do is every day that week, do something nice for your human in secret. And so all these amazing things happen. People bake cookies, create sandwiches, arrange for someone to get a group hug, flowers, songs, and the people who are receiving it, like that guy over there, have no idea who arranged this serenade for him. It's coming from a secret angel, but boy, does it help people feel loved. In this chapter, we are putting a quick video on Love Week. It's a 5-minute video that teaches you how to bring this into your company. So all of these do incredible things to increase happiness in the workplace. And as someone who's completing this course, I really want to ask you to do the best you can to be an agent of happiness, to try to bring happiness, because it's such an invaluable human need, to your space, to your workplace, to your company, to that future company you will start as you go forth in life. Another thing we do, another idea that you can take away, is something we call Splash. It's a secret society within Mindvalley called the Secret Society for Platonic Love, Appreciation, Smiles, and Happiness. Nobody knows who's a member of Splash, but every now and then Splash will arrange that people coming to the office are treated to free Starbucks coffee or donuts or chocolate, or sometimes Splash will just buy flowers for everyone. There was one day when Splash arranged every woman in the company to have flowers on her desk. It's just beautiful. All of this spreads. Stress, anxiety, boredom, confidence, excitement, engagement are all contagious. When you can learn to bring discipline into your life, you know that you can choose positive emotions over negative emotions, but know that both are equally contagious. One of the best parts about training this program and learning tools such as discipline is that when you learn these, you have a ripple effect on others. Okay, and now a final tip. Invest in your environment. If you have an office that looks good, people are more likely to feel happy. You do not have to start with a glorious office. Mindvalley invests a lot in its office places, but remember, we had to start somewhere. If you look at this simple scene, it's a grass carpet, it's a couple of bean bags, that tree isn't very expensive, but putting it together gives people a beautiful space that they can call work and call home. So invest in your environment. Our office actually looks expensive, but it isn't. We found designers who were able to come and build these things and these environments for very, very, very cheap because they too were inspired by our vision. But start somewhere. It can start by simply flowers on the desk, by music playing in the background. Just start somewhere for your environment. Remember, discipline isn't just something you practice on your own. Discipline is something that you can practice on your own, but you can also help move out to the world and to the people around you, because happiness is important to rallying people around your vision and helping them be productive as they move about in this vision. So summary on happiness: social support, create opportunities for connection, positive contagion, spread good moods, invest in the environment, create beautiful spaces. And now we go on to growth. So we're now in item number 5. Growth. So growth is a very, very, very important aspect to many people joining a team. Mindvalley invests in growth by taking our team to team bonding activities like what's happening in that picture. But here's why growth is so important to us. When I was first starting this company in the early days, I believed in this quote by Dwight Eisenhower. Leadership is getting other people to do things you want done because they want to do it. And I thought this was brilliant. But today I know that that isn't really leadership. It's not about getting other people to do things you want done because they want to do it. That sounds more like manipulation. So I created a quote on leadership that I wanted all my managers to follow. And this is the quote: leadership is recognizing that we are all one. that every person you lead is as brilliant as you, as talented as you, and has the same capacity for growth and accomplishment. They simply need to be reminded of this fact. Now, if you look at that quote, what is it saying? It's saying a leader is someone who creates more leaders, who reminds people of their greatness. And this is my big wish for you as you go through this program. As you learn all of these skills, you become a leader by helping other people gain these skills, these awakenings, by reminding them of their greatness. How? Well, in our company, we do it to the 3 most important questions, which you've learned about: experiences, growth, contribution. But here's what you can do. You can take these 3 most important questions and bring it to your group. If you're part of a team, suggest your team do it together. These are the 3 most important questions of various people in my team. We have everyone do it. You can see the columns: experiences, growth, contribution. And we put it up on a giant wall for everyone to see, and amazing things happen when people do it. This is the 3 most important questions from Luminita Saviak, who's one of our most famous employees who's worked at Mindvalley. She wrote down how she wanted to be a highly paid fashion photographer. She wanted to be a leader in the field of spirituality. She wanted to be a world-renowned author. Well, while Luminita worked at Mindvalley, she started a blog called Purpose Fairy, and she happened to write a blog post that became the single most shared blog post in personal growth in the history of the internet. 1.2 million people shared that post. She got a book offer from Penguin. Today, she's a best-selling author. Amir joined us as an intern from Sudan, and Amir ended up writing in his 3 most important questions how he wanted to travel around the world, be a speaker, write a book. He ended up speaking in MIT and Harvard. His book, My Islam, which is about how the internet is going to bring democracy to the Middle East, got selected by Foreign Policy magazine as one of the top 25 must-read books of 2013. And Amir ended up going on a grand speaking tour all around the world, speaking at the Oslo Freedom Summit, sharing the stage with world leaders like the founder of Wikipedia. But it started out when he wrote this down in his 3 most important questions. So we believe there's no monopoly on dreams. Everybody writes down their 3 most important questions and we stick it on a wall. And you can look at someone else's questions and borrow ideas from them. That's a really important thing. So this guy in the middle, Ezekiel, went to our 3 most important questions wall, and he saw that there were various people who wrote that they wanted to hike in the Himalayas. So he got these people together from 4 different countries, and they all came together to do a 7-week trek in Nepal. That's them at 4,200 meters above sea level in the Himalayas. The 3 most important questions ends up being a blueprint for the soul. Don't just get your teams to do it because it helps people grow. Put it up on a wall somewhere so everyone can see each other's 3 most important questions and contribute to it. And if you need the exercise for people to go through it, you can download that for free on Omvana app. Okay, so summary on growth: experiences, growth, contribution. Bring the 3 most important questions exercise to your team, to your tribe. Turn it into a group exercise. Stick it on a wall. Encourage people to borrow questions from each other so that they can expand by being inspired by each other. And arrange, if you can, ways for people to contribute to each other's accomplishment of these goals. Now we go on to meaning. And we've spoken about meaning a lot. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who wrote the book The Little Prince, said, if you want to build a ship, don't drum up people to collect wood and don't assign them task and work, but rather teach them to long for the endless immensity of the sea. See, human beings are goal-driven organisms. We want meaning. We want big visions. A Gallup study on men who retire at 80 showed that 86% kept working because they found their work fun. 93% kept working because they found their work meaningful. When you can give people meaning, work stops being work and it becomes part of one's mission. Christine Hassler, who's a friend of mine, who is a lecturer who travels around the world lecturing on millennials, said the diversity issue between millennials and baby boomers is a bigger challenge to organizations right now than race or gender. Millennials are born with a different level of consciousness. So if you're under 35, congratulations, you're a millennial. But in reality, millennials are not just people under 35. Those of you who are in this program, odds are, have a millennial attitude. That's what drew you to Mindvalley. It's what drew you to this program, whether you're 35 or you're 70. Here's one big difference. The millennial attitude, which is the shift that people are in right now, is one of idealism. Millennials are the most idealistic people in the world today. Millennials are motivated by mission more so than ever before. And so it's important that you make mission a key part of your company. Now, most of you are building companies or pursuing your mission, so the mission is already there. But what you got to do is consistently remind people of the mission. We do it. We do it through mission reminders, continuously reminding people at Mindvalley why they do what they do. So we started the blog called mindvalleylove.com, and you can go there, mindvalleylove.com, and it's basically letters from our customers. Here's the thing, right? We didn't create this blog with these letters to show it to our other customers. We rarely use this blog in marketing. It's not like it's a testimonial thing. We use this blog to show tweets from celebrities, letters from customers, because we want our employees to read it. We want our employees to read this because this helps inspire them to see meaning in what they do. We got this card recently from a 15-year-old girl called Charlotte Bonner in England, and we stuck this up on our fridge because this fills so many of our employees with so much joy. In fact, they recorded a video message for Charlotte just to thank her. So mission reminders are an important thing to put all across your team or your company. And it sounds cheesy, right? But it isn't. In fact, it fuels people, and it's one of the most important fuels you can have for yourself and for the people who rally around you to help you get to your mission. So let's summarize meaning. Have a strong mission, you know that, but remind people of this mission. And now we go to the final one, abundance. And this is number 7. So abundance, we all need money, we all need things, we all need a salary so we can survive. All of this is true, but I asked myself once, is it really abundance that people are craving? Or is abundance simply a means to an end? And what is that end? And I realized that really, once you have happiness, once you have mission, the abundance isn't really an end goal. The abundance is rather a means goal. It's what we really want. We think we want abundance, but what people really want more so than abundance is significance. You can't compete on salary alone. It's not about paying people a high salary. So instead, give employees what they seek from abundance, and that is significance. See, if you're running an NGO or a nonprofit, salary may not be what you can compete with, but you can still get people to rally around your mission. Incredible people who are doing great causes for the world do this all the time because they're giving people significance. So Richard Branson said this, like flowers flourish on water, people flourish on praise. One of the surest ways people gain significance is through praise. So frequent appreciation is one of the things that's really important for your team. We do this in a number of ways. We have a little app online where employees get to give little tokens of appreciation, a little gift like that, and a note to someone whom they have worked with. You choose someone whom you want to reward, you write your message, and the appreciation goes out. 20,000 love letters go out every single year on this program. But if you don't have a fancy program, you can do something that we do at our events like Awesomeness Fest. We put a little envelope with each person's name on it and a picture, a Polaroid picture of them. We take this from our attendees as they attend. And throughout the event, other attendees leave little notes of appreciation for others in this envelope. And so when you leave Awesomeness Fest or any Mindvalley event, you carry with you an envelope filled with love notes from people whom you met in that 2 to 4 day event. Now, if you want a tool to use it, you can try work.com by Salesforce. They have a little tool that allows you to give notes of appreciation to people. Bill Jensen, who is a friend and author of the book Hacking Work, said, it's not just about getting employees engaged with a company vision. Future work will be about being engaged with an employee's vision. So appreciation, yes, is important. But another way to give people significance is to genuinely care about the employee's vision. So the employees may be rallying around your mission, but odds are they have little visions of their own, whether it's travel or love or growth. How can you support them in that? Now, one of the things we do is the idea of the unexpected gift. So what we do is we know that people have done their 3 most important questions. And you want to remember what Bill Jensen said, to be vested in the employees or your team members' vision for themselves as well. So I've seen their 3 most important questions. Now, what I'm going to share is the single most important idea here. So this is something you want to remember. I look at the 3 most important questions for people in my team. Now, I could be the CEO of the company looking at new people who join the company, or I could be just a member of the team, and we've done the exercise together, and I'm looking at fellow members. And on my to-do list, I make a list of little random acts of kindness I can do to show them that someone cares about what's on their list and is helping them attain it. So you can see there, these are some of the items on my to-do list. I have an item for skydiving because I noticed 2 people wanted to go skydiving. So I'm hatching a little plan to introduce them to a skydiving school I know of. I see that there was someone there who wanted to speak at TED. So I'm buying him a book called How to Speak at TED, and I'm leaving it on his desk with a little note. There's someone there who wants to run a marathon. Great. I'm working with my HR department to create some sort of plan where we can have a group of employees come together to train and then eventually compete in a marathon. There's someone who wants to attend a TED Talk. Well, I know someone who's organizing a TED Talk 6 months from now. I'm going to see if I can buy this person a ticket and leave it on their desk. So you can see how this works. And it is insane the impact this has. There's a study on Gallup that shows that people who agreed to the phrase, my supervisor or someone at work seems to care about me as a person, were found to be more productive, contributed more to profits, more significantly more likely to stay with their company in the long term. And the thing is, it's obvious we care, right? We all care. But the little token of showing you care and showing that you took time to read someone's 3 most important questions and then do a random act of kindness for them magnifies this. And the impact this has on the company, oh my God, I mean, wow. Every single new hire whom I've left a little token of appreciation for has just gone on to become incredible at their work, highly motivated. And it creates a bond between me and them. We are more transparent with each other. We're more open. It's healthy in every way. So I really want to encourage you to do this with your teams, whether you are part of a team or whether you run the team as the team's direct supervisor. So you can take a lot of these things and bring them together into your all-hands meeting. Every company or every team has a all-hands meeting. Maybe it's your weekly scrum or huddle. Maybe it's a company-wide meeting. This is what we do, okay? So we call our company-wide meetings the awesomeness report. And at the awesomeness report, we start with this slide, and then we gather everyone together, and it's all about celebrating achievement and talking about vision. It's a very happy event. It's designed to make people laugh. It's designed to be celebratory and not a boring company report. There are 2 rules to running your meetings this way. Now, again, I'm not talking about all meetings. Sometimes meetings are about just getting things done. I'm specifically talking about your weekly all-hands-on-deck meeting or your weekly team meeting. First, celebrate victories. So we put up a slide showing every team. This is our Academy Growth Experience and Marketing team, and we share cool things they've done. Every team, notice, has a professional photo taken. This creates a team bond. It shows people that they are part of a team and they are part of a group working together. We show our team photos. This is for our media and design team. And then we go on to show stuff that they've done, work that they've produced, and we congratulate them on it. Very often, we have people in sales or in finance or in customer support who operate based on numbers. If they hit a new high score, we celebrate this. When you hit a new high score, we have a bell on the side of the stage and you get to ring the bell, and it's called the bell of awesomeness that is only to be rung in moments of true and utter awesomeness. Every time you hit a high score, you ring the bell and everybody gets to applaud you. And then, of course, we share customer love. So love letters that come in for our customers. Our customers write notes of appreciation to our customer support staff, and we share this. So you can see Karina below there. She's one of our single moms whom we employ in Costa Rica. A customer wrote, I'm so grateful. It seems Mindvalley is a giant magnet to all these wonderful people. Thank you, Karina. May your wonderful customer service example catch on with the rest of the world. We celebrate that because think about how that makes Karina feel and how it makes the rest of the team feel when they see what we value as a company. So here's why this is important. Memetics and social contagion. I've introduced you to this study before. The evidence shows that we inherit and transmit behaviors, emotions, beliefs, and religions, not through rational choice, but through contagion. When we are unsure of how to react to a stimulus, we look to others for guidance. Now, what do you think happens when you are celebrating publicly the heroes in your company, the people who are getting rave reviews from customers, the people who are hitting new high scores? You are giving the other members of the company, of the team, guidance on whom to follow. So they automatically start emulating those behaviors. So you are now hacking the culture of your company because you're using memetics and social contagion to celebrate heroes and create a ripple effect where that heroic behavior gets emulated. So that's part 1, right? Notice all of part 1 was about celebration. In other words, blisscipline. So just like you can be in flow, you can put your company in flow by celebrating and bringing happiness. But the second ingredient for flow, for being in a state of limitless, is a vision for the future. That's what you do next in your company report. So you talk about where you're going to go. We sometimes make our team meditate together and visualize the perfect day 6 months down the road when we've attained all our goals. So bringing both of these together help you create an awesomeness report, a high impact meeting in your company that puts the company in that state of limitless. It's happiness through celebration, growth through trainings, opportunities to reinforce meaning. All of these are created by the happiness report. Happiness because you're celebrating people, growth because you're sharing insights and ideas, opportunities to reinforce meaning when you share, say, customer support, tokens of love, and so on, feelings of significance by being recognized and celebrated because people are called up, they're celebrated, they get applauded. And so all of the four, the happiness, the growth, the meaning, the significance, are all delivered through this one weekly meeting. And now let me summarize significance. So we've spoken about significance. You give significance by appreciation, through unexpected gifts, through rethinking your all-hands meeting. And in summary, these are the 7 things. Attraction, create job ads that appeal to the heart. The fit, know your bar and hire for attitude. The common code, define your values and live by them. Happiness, create a culture of positivity. Growth, provide opportunities for lifelong learning. Meaning, make it more than work. Significance, make people feel recognized. We're doing this because we initially wanted to create the world's greatest workplace by 2020 in a developing nation. We still have a long way to go, and we have much to learn. But what we are finding as an unintended side effect of operating in this way is the impact on employees. When you do this, your employees grow. Mindvalley employees appear on the covers of magazines, on televisions, they speak at universities and education institutes. We help our employees grow because we're continuously immersing them in the growth that we are releasing to the world. After all, if we as a company cannot help our employees grow, what business do we have helping you grow or helping our customers grow? We must be able to practice what we preach. So now let's go on to the next phase, and this is an important phase as we wrap up. Thus far, we have spoken about how to rally people around your vision, to get people to co-create the vision with you and beyond you. But notice the words I bolded. They are co-creating the vision, and they're creating the vision beyond you. What I mean by beyond you is the idea that your vision and your ego cannot be intertwined. You have to separate your vision from your ego. You see, if you've been really paying attention, you would have recognized something. The vision isn't coming from you, it is coming through you. You've tapped into a higher power and you are developing an idea, a vision that's coming through you on what you can do to serve the world. And you have to come from that aspect of serving. J.J. Virgin said, power with ego is intimidating. Power without ego is magnetic. You have to be able to create power without ego. All the great leaders I've spoken to have an incredible power. And you're developing this power as well as you go through this course. I mean, you're learning merging, you're learning tapping into intuition, you're learning now how to rally people around you. That is power. But when you can pluck away your ego from the power, you become truly magnetic. If you keep your ego within the power, that's intimidation. Be magnetic, and that means removing your ego from the power. Because you must understand this, that vision that you're building, if it truly came through you, it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the world. You are serving the vision. You are serving the world. And when you are serving the world, that is when I believe you truly feel as if the universe has your back. Intuition is speaking to you. A higher power seems to be motivating you. Luck seems to be flowing your way. But that's because you are serving the world. And when you can grasp this difference, you truly become the type of leader that the world needs today. So I hope you enjoyed the 8 modules in this program. This program is going to be continuously updated and revised. You'll get all the updates for free. I'll be adding new segments to it. I might even be re-recording some of these chapters. It's going to be a living program that I'm going to be updating every 6 months or so as I learn new things. So thank you for being part of this program, and I cannot wait to hear from you on how this may have impacted your life. If you'd like to email me directly and personally, my email address is very available, and I read all the emails myself. It is simply hellovision@mindvalley.com. Thank you.